So a couple of weeks ago, I participated in the SPEAR PDR trainers course. If you don't know yet what SPEAR is, in a way it's a form of self-defense, but it's quite different from a lot of other self-defense systems that are out there. Why is that? I'm going to tell you very soon, and also in this video, I will share an in-depth review of my experience in the program, what I saw as the benefits, what I saw the system lacks, and just I'll try to be as honest as I can be. Also, I will answer some questions that you asked in the previous video where I just documented the vlog of my journey to the SPEAR PDR course in Scotland, but that's going to be at the end. Beforehand, let's start with the intro to what the SPEAR system is. So first of all, the SPEAR system itself, it categorizes combat into 4 different realms. So the first one is martial arts, which is more based on the traditional martial arts like Aikido, Karate, Wing Chun. These are martial arts which heavily rely on tradition and have a lot of gross motor skills, meaning a lot of difficult movements you have to learn, a big variety of them. But it's mainly, if you are able to see through it, it's mainly actually meant for self-development. It doesn't really have such a good relationship with how reality works in terms of self-defense. It doesn't look at the psychological aspect of self-defense, or very rarely, and it's trained in a dojo in a safe environment, oftentimes with compliant partners. So that realm is, oftentimes it's very far from self-defense, which is also my experience in how I learned Aikido. The second realm is combat sports, which is the realm of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, wrestling, MMA, boxing. And in my experience, I'm going to add some ideas for myself, it's a bit closer to self-defense. It's because you work with resisting opponents and you get used to dealing with a lot of pressure. But at the same time, this area doesn't, or very rarely, include the questions of, for example, an ambush or weapons, multiple attackers. Also, there are very specific rules where people can hit you only in certain spots, or you can do only certain movements. And I think, in my experience, it does bring you closer to self-defense, but there's still a clear gap if these questions are not addressed, and oftentimes in combat sports they are not addressed. So that realm is great, but it's not necessarily self-defense. Now the third one is more tricky to understand. That is the reality-based self-defense, which is the best example I have in my mind is Krav Maga. But also some other systems can be, oftentimes they even name themselves that way, but as Tony Blauer, the founder of SPEAR system, likes to say, and I really like his quote, oftentimes it's the same traditional martial arts mixed with a bit of combat sports, but it's just, what is different that they just use the term in the street, in the street, but it doesn't necessarily include a lot of questions which are answered in the next category. And the fourth category where the SPEAR system is categorized in, it's real life violent encounters, which means it's first of all, it really heavily emphasizes the psychological aspect, because if you're going to be afraid and you're going to paralyze yourself because of fear, no martial arts training is going to help. If you're going to rely on gross motor skills in a difficult situation, in a troublesome situation, in a violent situation, there's a big chance your movements will not come up. And I know that from experience. I've been there. So many movements that I know from Aikido and from some other martial arts. In the moment of an attack, you get confused because you don't know which one to use. So the SPEAR system introduces the most simple and efficient ways to deal with the most common violent attacks, which are actually out there in the street, rather than looking at some roundhouse kicks or tornado kicks or whatever, which do not really happen on the street. And also it includes some other areas as well, like training verbally, de-escalating. It just has so much in it, which is based on what really happens in violent encounters. So that's the fourth realm. And just so you know, the main methodology behind the physical aspect of SPEAR, it utilizes and weaponizes the flinch. When there's danger, especially when there's an ambush, your hands are gonna, most of the times, are gonna come up to just defend. That's a natural instinct. And what the SPEAR system does, it includes the flinch in the training, and it weaponizes into bringing the arms out and making it into kind of a defensive mechanism, or a weapon to attack, to push away danger, and then to run away, or to continue on with the next suggested tool. But this is the part which I really fell in love with, because when I was learning Aikido, which is oftentimes claimed as a self-defense martial art, it was very, very much and very often introduced to me as, oh, Aikido is more defensive. It's more for self-defense, which for me is so far from reality, so far from truth. But in it, I learned so many complex movements. If the opponent grabs you this way, you do that movement. If the opponent grabs you this way, you do this movement. If he grabs here, and then there would be all of those moments of, oh, you don't grab here. Oh no, we don't attack like that. Oh no, we don't punch like that. We don't have haymakers. And so all of these difficult movements, so many of them in my mind, and then all of those strange, weird attacks. Like I could explain, I think, why they're there, but Yokomenuchi, Shomenuchi, and no haymaker, for example. All of that led me to always have a big hesitation and big doubt in a physical confrontation. So if I would be walking down the street and I would see a guy or a couple of guys who would pose me danger, who I would see as dangerous, my mind would start to shrink, because I would think, oh man, if he attacks that way, I should do this technique. If he attacks this way, I'm going to do this technique. And I could pretend that, oh, maybe my body will respond by itself just in a natural way. But I've been in situations where I had to defend myself, and Aikido just didn't come up. And again, you could blame me for that. It's not the martial art, it's the martial artist. But the spirit system really showed what's really the answer. That when the attack happens, the flinch is going to happen. You will want to defend yourself with the hands, and then if you weaponize it, if you defend yourself in a very simple way, you don't have to think, oh, which technique I will do. It's basically just one technique which is applied to many different attacks, and it's very much it becomes a very much instinctual movement. Then you can bridge, and that's what the spear system calls it. It's a bridge to your martial art. It's a bridge to your combat practice. Because afterwards, yes, maybe I could try and do a technique. Maybe I could try to do a wrist throw, whatever comes up in that moment. But that moment of the ambush, that was never really addressed in my Aikido training. It was always, okay, we stand in this way, you're going to attack me, ready. It was not the same, but the spear system addresses that. And that really made me fall in love with it. While in many martial arts, combat practices, or even some self-defense systems which I've been exposed to, a lot of times as I would be introduced to the system, actually more questions would come up than answers. I would just start to look at something and I'd be like, oh, what about that? What about this? What about that? What if this happens? So many questions would come up. Oftentimes the systems would, especially the martial arts, would be, oh, we don't do this, or well, you'll just figure out something by yourself, or they show you some weird answer. It just they would justify it, but in the back of my mind, you would realize, well, this is odd. I'm not sure if I really believe that or if it really makes sense. But what was fascinating with the spear system when I was in the instructor's course, pretty much the whole 3 days of intensive training, I was listening to, and I was like, wow, okay, that makes sense. That makes total sense. Oh, that's the answer I was looking for. Oh, that's how you deal with this situation. Basically, it answered so many questions to me that I was looking for so many years that it's just incredible. I felt incredible after the training, and only a few questions came up to me, which I will address at the next section, as one of the next sections of the video. But basically, just my mind really got into place of how I would defend myself. And a short, interesting story which supported that. So after the first day of training, I had to take the bus to drive back to Edinburgh, and there was this group of teenagers, really violent. They were kicking the bus. They had some argument with the bus, apparently, with the bus driver, and they were kicking the bus, hitting the windows, and there was the bus stop, and they were just trashing the bus stop. Well, not too badly, not that I needed to interfere, but I had to go to that bus stop, and I'm going there, and I see these guys. I see that there's a danger. They might want to include me in their violence. And in the past, when I would see that danger, I would start to think, okay, wow, I have to be ready. I have to get my Aikido techniques ready. What will I do? I would start to question myself and think about all the techniques and all the ways to defend. And I would tense up. But this time, after the spear introduction, even after the first day of just knowing that the flinch is going to be there, I'm going to weaponize it, that the answer is there, I felt calm. I just walked in there. I checked the bus as they were just ranting around, but I had my confidence because I knew if they will attack me, I will know where to start from, how to defend myself, and then the dance is gonna start, or I'm gonna run away. But that gave me a huge amount of confidence. And so that was an incredible experience, which even more made me fall in love with the SPEAR system. Now, something else I want to say in review of the SPEAR PDR course is the professionalism. First of all, the instructors, there were 2 instructors, really great instructors, really great people. They both are active police officers with many years of experience, and they're applying these things day to day in their everyday jobs. And when they were teaching, they weren't just saying, oh, theoretically, you know, when you do this, that's gonna happen. No, they talked from experience. They gave real life examples. Oftentimes they would say some story, and only at the end, somebody asked, they would say, oh yeah, that was the story about me. It's like, whoa. So, you know, you really get to feel, and they're enthusiastic about it because they felt it worked so many times that you see the faith from them, and you can ask them anything. That wasn't like you ask them something and they're like, oh no, we don't talk about this, or they avoid the question. You could literally ask them anything. They were open to questions, and the course was really well led. The course itself was designed in a very, very good way, touching all the psychological aspects and the pre-contact. There was a good balance between the physical and the theoretical. So it was really well designed course, very good instructors. But also what I want to mention is the pre-contact with the SPEAR system and the post-contact, let's say like that, is the fact that I was sent a bunch of videos to try out before going to the course, a bunch of drills that I needed to try out. Very detailed. I've sent manuals to study, videos to study. So I was advised to prepare for this course, and the system really took care of me coming in there ready to learn. Even more so, after the course ended, the contact is still there. In a couple of weeks or so, one of my instructors will have a Skype talk to me, as much as with everyone else in the course, to see how I'm doing, to see if I have any questions. There's a whole forum where I can ask any question, literally any question about the SPEAR system, and there's a whole group of people ready to answer. There's a lot of material that I was given, even an article on how to successfully start your program, how to design the class, how to design the course. And also what I really enjoy about the system is that it very clearly says this is just the beginning. Self-defense is an endless world. It doesn't say, oh, now you're the god of this world and teach it, you're the best, which would be such bullshit. But the system, and Coach Tony, he points out very clearly, look, we gave you fundamentals, but it's your job to make it into a full experience, which I feel is such an honest way to go about it. And so with all of this care before and after the course, there's really a sense that, as Tony Blauer says, he really wants the world to become safer. And I feel that way, becoming part of this family, of the SPEAR system family. I really feel that desire is genuine, that the system, it walks the talk. The team is really helping me to give the best that I can. It's not just a money ripoff where, you know, you come to a course, and I did a bunch of those courses. It's incredible. You go to a course, they teach you stuff, they give you a certificate, and it's like, you know, go give me money and go out of my way. There's too many courses like that, but this course was nothing like it. Now, I became recently very much critical about things and just questioning, just because of my experience with waking up from the delusion of Aikido. I became quite critical and very specific at doubting things, questioning, and I did the same with the SPEAR system. I would question everything. I would try to find what are the weaknesses. I even had one of the questions I asked of the instructor said, could you please help me realize what are the weak points of the system? What are the main criticisms? And he was open to talk about it. And I also asked a few other self-defense experts about the SPEAR system off the record. What's their opinion? Do they think it works? What are the weak parts of it? So I really dug in to see what's bad about it, because, you know, no system can be perfect. But to my happiness, the degree of clear criticism, clear argumented, well-based criticism is not that big on the SPEAR system. Of course, there's a lot of haters, which I'm going to talk about, of the system, which trash the system. But people who really know their stuff, they shine a positive light on the system. The main criticism, though, is the follow-up. So the SPEAR is, bam, that moment of defending yourself from an ambush, and then the question is, what then? Now, what's interesting to me is that the way I was taught the system, there is an answer. It's called the closest weapon, closest target. And I don't want to go too much into detail about that right here in the video, just to save the time of the video itself. But basically it's a concept of whatever is closest, the target is closest, the weapon is the elbow here, for example, and I connect them, and then what's next? And I tried it and it really feels good. It really feels like it works. But then a lot of the criticism I saw is people questioning, oh, the spear is just there, and then what do you do afterwards? But even that, if you continue to look at it, in the spear system, it's very clearly said that it's a bridge to your practice that you did before. If you're not trained at all, then the tools of closest weapon, closest target are given to the person. But if you are trained, after the spear, that's where your BJJ comes in. That's where your boxing, MMA, whatever, Krav Maga, whatever, that's the moment when you responded and you have time to realize what's happening. That's where you can include your gross motor skill that you learned. So actually, it's not really a problem. That question is addressed. Even more so, that's the moment where I felt the potential of Aikido potentially kicking in. That's where the hopes of my relationship with Aikido actually became a bit more higher again, although I was putting off Aikido quite a bit recently. But then that knowledge that, okay, the spear is there, and then, yeah, maybe there's a wrist lock, maybe there's an urimi nage, maybe there's a koki nage, because the person is unbalanced and you can maybe use that moment of off balance. I see why the criticism is there, but I don't really see an issue here. Now, some of the critiques could be connected and related to some of the questions which were left in me at the end of the seminar. So the few questions that I had in my mind was, what about knife attacks or extra weapons? That was not directly on a big scale addressed in the course. Also kicks, and we weren't looking at a straight punch. But even some of the questions here, I could, based on the system, based on the fundamentals, I could start finding some answers. And in terms of knife defense, multiple attackers, those questions, I know specifically now that those questions are answered in the second level or more intensive training of the SPEAR system, and I just went through the fundamentals. I cannot blame the program for it because it was a fundamentals course. A lot of the answers are there online in extra materials that I can read, that I can look at, and so I just know that the answers by the system are created, and I'm pretty sure they're damn good, but I just need to do the work for it. So again, that criticism really doesn't apply here. Now, the last couple of things I want to mention, one of them is the hate the system gets. I haven't looked so much into the haters there because I have a lot of them myself in my channel. But as I listened to hours and hours of Tony Blauer's, the founder's audio tapes and injuries and etc., he keeps on talking a lot about haters and refers to them. So I have a feeling, I understand that, okay, it's clear that he gets a lot of hatred from a lot of people. But at the same time, I do too. And if you see my point, if you see where I'm heading for, if you see what I do, how I question Aikido, how I question traditional martial arts, how I expose myself to pressure testing, and you believe in what I do, and then you see the haters which want to stab me, which are stabbing me in the back, most of them are purely just not wanting to face the truth. They don't want to admit that a martial art they did for years and years is not what it claims to be. They have a huge ego, they have a huge identity of, they have a business to run, and they want to protect the image of their martial art or whatever. They're not willing to question, and that's why they hate what I do. And I can resonate and connect with Tony Blauer so much here. I can definitely see in his situation that it's the same. It's the same. He's simplifying the mechanics of self-defense in terms of the physical level, and that's not great for the systems out there. They don't want to simplify themselves. They enjoy being the difficult, complex martial art. So yeah, that hatred doesn't really tell anything. Or even more so, you know what I could say? I could say, there's a phrase I keep in myself, which I rely on quite often, especially in terms of hatred from other people, is if nobody hates you, that means you're doing something wrong. If a bunch of people hate you, there's a bigger chance that you're doing something right because you're questioning things. The world isn't right. There's a lot of crap out there. And if you're doing the right thing, those who love crap are not going to be happy about you. So the hatred doesn't tell anything. So I promised to do a Q&A in terms of this SPEAR system, but this video just became so long already. So I'm going to stop here. Just give my final thoughts, and I'm gonna film another video so you could come back and see your answers, and I'm gonna answer individually your questions with your names. So yeah, just make sure you come back to the next video. Final thoughts. I highly recommend it. The spear, I don't know, maybe I'm still not seeing something. I don't know, I still have a lot to learn, but so far I'm really loving it, and it answered me so many questions. I'd really recommend it, especially to traditional martial artists, combat sports athletes as well. There's a lot of answers there, so even if you just need one bit of it, I think it's definitely worth going to it, learning it, and yeah, I'm all in. Thank you for watching this video. I'm happy you stick to the end. It's a long video. Come back to see the video of questions and answers. There's a lot of great interviews I made recently with Nat Thornton, one of his students who's a high-level self-defense coach, Paul Sharp, a bunch of Bruno Roscoe talks. So great videos out there. Make sure you come back, subscribe, and also next week I'll release a very special video in terms of my future plans. Make sure you watch that. It's gonna be big. Anyway, so thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video.